Hello everybody, welcome back. Jordan here. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest mistake that I ever made in regards to Lego city building. And I'm still living with that mistake today. Live and learn, I guess. So today we're going to be talking about the history of this mistake, the progression of what it is, and also how I can maybe go about solving it and what I plan to do as we move forward to hopefully fix this problem. And also I'm going to be providing you some insight on what you should do so you don't make the same mistakes as me. So my biggest mistake has to do with Lego City tables. Yes, I know, crazy. How could I make such a big mistake with tables? I know the Lego City looks pretty good, but I'm still living with a little bit of a mistake right now here in this Lego room. So I've been building a Lego City for, 6 or 7 years roughly right now. Started in May of 2015 roughly. And one of the first Lego sets that I got, probably within the first half dozen or so, was actually the Lego modular building known as the Detective's Office. And right when I got the Detective's Office, I said, you know what, that's it. I'm starting to collect all of these awesome Lego modular buildings, and I'm going to start building a Lego city. So I decided to head on out to my local hardware store, well, Lowe's, I'm sure you've heard of it, and pick up my first Lego city table. And I got one of the large 8-foot folding tables with the metal legs. You know, they got like the plastic tops, and they're pretty good. The problem with those tables are, well, they actually have a little bit of a curve to them. Actually, I guess it's more like a bow. That's what I mean. You can actually see that those tables are still being used today here in my garage. Can you believe it? We have them stacked 3 tall. But these are the tables that we used to use for our Lego City at the old house. Actually, we used them for a short period of time. Now, what do I mean by them having a slight bow to them? Well, I mean that they're not perfectly level. The edges are actually a little bit higher, and also where the table legs are, they're a little bit higher, so they go down a little bit in the center. So I mean that of course is all right if you've got a small Lego city, maybe you've got, 5, 6, 7, 8 modular buildings with a row of streets and maybe a row of park or something like that, not a big deal. But when you start getting multiple of those tables and putting them butt up against one another, you start to notice problems because Lego City or Lego plates want a flat, flush surface where all of these plates can go side by side, line up perfectly together, and just be like awesome, rock solid. So I ended up getting, whatever. I got a whole bunch of those tables and we had them all together. But then I started noticing this problem where everything wasn't lining up perfectly because it wasn't on a perfectly level surface. So what did I decide to do? Well, I actually went to, once again, back to the hardware store. This time it was probably Home Depot or something like that, and actually got some 8-foot by 4-foot pieces of plywood, and I topped those folding tables with plywood, and I made sure that they were all screwed together from the underside and everything was level. So I leveled off that entire surface. It definitely worked as a good solution. I mean, it was a bit outrageous that I had folding tables and then I topped those folding tables with plywood. It was all right, it worked, but it didn't solve the problem 110%, but it's definitely, fixed it for the time being. So that was my second table solution. We started with the folding tables and then we topped those tables with plywood. And then we changed the layout many times actually. We decided to go with a perimeter layout. Right now, you can see the layout is in the center of the room. And for a short period of time, I actually decided to go with a perimeter layout where there's Lego tables going around the perimeter of your room, along the walls, and you can sort of access everything as you walk around the Lego city. It's a really cool concept and you can create some really interesting designs using a perimeter layout. And we use those same folding tables with the plywood top. Then eventually I said, you know what? To the heck with this, we're going to get rid of this perimeter layout and we're going to go back to the cool, funky design of having it in the center, just because I think you can create a more realistic city with a bigger road system with the central design. So when we decided to make that change and go back to the central design, well, what did we do? We did the smartest thing that you can possibly ever do. and that is build custom Lego tables using 2x4s and plywood. I actually made a how-to video on how to make these perfect Lego City tables, and that was actually at the old place. It was amazing. Our Lego City was 24 feet long by 70 inches. 70 inches was a perfect width because you could actually reach from either side of the table and you could reach the center of the city. There was no need for the access holes in the center, and it was a brilliant design that I really liked. And we made some blueprints using, sketching them up on some grid paper. We went to the Home Depot. We got some perfectly cut plywood. We got some perfectly cut 2x4s. We made a frame for it. We screwed the plywood to the frame. We put the table legs on, and it was a beautiful table layout that we had. It was actually 3 separate tables spanning the 24 feet, and it was awesome. We loved that table layout. So then Jose and I, we decided to move from that house to this place here. And we were going to build a new and improved Lego room with all new tables, all new shelving, and it is going to look fantastic, which I think we did a pretty good job of, right? Now, we made one crucial mistake. We did not custom build the tables for our Lego City. Why didn't we do that? Well, I've actually watched a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of people were using these Lindemann tables with the Adil's legs to build their Lego City. One YouTuber in particular that always influenced my decision because he is like the GOAT, aka the greatest of all time, Lego City builder, is Jangbricks. Incredible city, incredible builder, and just amazing. And I noticed that his Lego tables were these Lego tables. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do that because I think that's going to be the best solution. It's going to be the most customizable. It's going to look clean. It's going to have that fresh IKEA look that's going to match our shelving. And that's what we're going to do. So that's what we did. And ultimately, in the end, that was a mistake. And do not make that mistake. Do not use the IKEA products with the IKEA legs. Do not do it. Custom build your Lego City tables. And I'm going to show you why right now. So the Lego City is on a ridiculous amount of Lindemann tables and Adil's legs. Of course, you can use Lindemann tables if you're going to make a small Lego City. But if you plan on making a Lego City that's as big as ours, or even maybe even a little bit smaller than ours, for example, this quadrant right here with the downtown core is 100 inches by 200 inches. If you plan on making a layout this large, do not use the Lindemann tables. First off, there are way too many legs under here. It is ridiculous how many legs you have to use. Second off, this IKEA product, the tables themselves are hollow tables. Now, what's the problem with hollow tables? I'm going to show you right now when we move this town hall modular building. They warp, period. There is no way of getting these tables perfectly level. And this is all over the place in this entire Lego City layout. This problem is everywhere. There is no way of making these perfectly level. For example, we have a table seam right here. You can see, not level, right? And then over here, it's too high the other way. So how are we supposed to make this table level with this table when this table is too high here and too low there? It simply doesn't work because this table is bowing in the middle because it's an IKEA product that is not high quality and eventually over time will bow. Not only that, but you'll notice that, what is this right here? This is a piece of melamine. This piece of melamine is actually pretty strong and it's a pretty flush table because I custom built the insert in the middle. Why did I have to do that? Well, that's because the IKEA tables only come in certain sizes. So to make a perfect 100 by 200 inch dimension for this room, I had to custom build a central table so that it is the perfect rectangular shape. So that's why you see that this one here is not an IKEA table. So that's another downfall, is that you can't create the exact size for your Lego room using the IKEA tables. So why do I consider this to be such a big problem? And why do I consider it to be my biggest mistake? Well, it just causes misalignment. especially when you're using rigid mills plates. You can see gaps and stuff like that all over the place caused by these table differences in height. I know it's only a few millimeters or 2 millimeters every now and there, but it just causes problems with city alignment. And if you're trying to build a perfect Lego city like me, then unfortunately you're going to notice those things, and it's really going to bother you as a Lego builder. Now, how are we going to go about fixing this problem? What can we do right now in the short term to fix this problem that is happening absolutely everywhere? To tell you the truth, I don't really have the 100% bulletproof solution to the problem. What we could do is we could screw the IKEA tables together from the underside using metal strap pieces or something like that. Like the metal pieces that I used to screw the plywood with, they're like this. And they've got 2 holes on either side. You put them there and you put 4 screws in it, and it sort of holds it, bridges the tables together like that. The problem is IKEA tables are hollow, so they're hard to screw into. You could do that same idea by putting a piece of wood underneath and just putting some glue on the wood and putting some glue on the other side and bridging the tables that way. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to perfectly solve the problem. Another thing we could do is we could do what we did with my folding tables, and we could actually resurface everything with large sheets of plywood to reduce the amount of gaps and reduce the amount of table seams by using large sheets of plywood. Because obviously the fewer seams there are, the better. Because as you can imagine, there are a lot of seams in the city here because we use a lot of different tables. Just having a look under here again, you can see how many legs there are and how many seams there are because of the amount of tables that support the Lego city. So that'd be the solution. We could try and screw them together. We could try to glue them together by gluing wood underneath, or we could say the heck to with all these tables and get them the heck out of here. Maybe sell them on Facebook Marketplace and replace everything with a custom built table. And what would I do there? Well, I showed you how I built those other tables there. I would probably do the exact same thing, but this time I would probably use the adjustable legs. You could even use the Linman legs for those tables. And I would also paint the wood going around the edge of it all white so that it looks really clean and sort of matches the vibe of the Lego room. But if you are a Lego city builder or you're looking to build a Lego city that's relatively a large scale, go ahead and custom build your tables. Do not do what I did. I've been through the learning curve, and I'm telling you right now, if your tables are not the same height, it's going to drive you absolutely crazy. You need a flat, level surface, and I'd even recommend, if you are building them using plywood, use the thicker plywood. Don't use the thin plywood, use the thicker stuff, probably 1/4 inch or thicker, just so it's perfectly level, because you know some of the thinner plywood can even bow itself as well, even if it's screwed down. I know that from experience as well. So don't cheap out on the plywood that you use, and make sure your 2x4s are straight. So maybe we'll be gluing these tables together, maybe we'll be screwing them together, or maybe one day we'll be replacing them all, or maybe we'll just live with it. Just wanted to share my experience. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. Farewell.